Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so today is February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. Um, it's freezing out. Like today, it's like minus 17. I'm in Canada, so it's minus 17. Super cold. Cannot go outside. Have work to do. So we gotta do what we gotta do. So we're gonna do some sanding inside prep. But what I'm making this video on is exactly as the title says. I'm prepping a Mandalorian helmet with a .8 nozzle. So the layer lines are going to be huge. The work is gonna take a little bit more. I'm gonna show you guys how I get it done. So here's the print. And you can't really see, maybe you can, but these are some pretty big lines. Some pretty heavy lines there. So we're going to go through my process and try and get it as nice and smooth as we can. Remember, as I said, it's a .8 nozzle. It's pretty big. It was printed in about a day and a half because of the slow speed that I went on, but let's jump into it. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an 80 grit on my palm sander, and I'm going to sand it all down as nice as I can. Then I'm going to hit it with a 180 hand paper, just go over it really smooth. Then we're going to throw a little bit of primer on and just see how bad these .8 nozzle with a .4 layer height really is. So even though we are inside, I have my window wide open, the heater over there. It's, like I said, it's freezing out. With the wind chill, it's like minus 26. It's just, you can't even breathe really. So we're doing it inside because it's only sanding right now. So respiratory still, vent open, fan heading towards it. So be as safe as you can. that is a lot harder than a .4. Okay, so as expected, after I did the initial sanding with the palm sander, I gave my arm a little bit of a break. So I gave myself like half an hour. Went, made a coffee, relaxed. That was a lot of pushing in, more than I'm used to. So the next step I do is I take my file and I do all the inside, and then I clean it up with my small file, just to get right into the corners here. And then we're gonna go over it with 180 grit paper, just to give it a quick one over the whole thing, get into those sharp corners. And we're gonna go hit it with one coat, just one coat of filler primer, and see where we need to Bondo up, which I'm assuming is gonna be a ton. So let's do some filing, do some sanding, and then we'll jump into the primer. Okay, so we got a lot of work to do, and when we put on that primer, it's gonna show. Next step. Okay guys, so now we've done the palm sander, the hand quick sanding. We're gonna hit it with some filler primer, just one coat, because the layer lines are so thick. We're just gonna hit it with one coat, see where we really need to put the Bondo. So we're gonna go slap this on now. Thanks to Colby, my son, for recording. Like I said, it is freezing outside, so I'm just gonna do one coat. He's gonna record from the window, but you guys will see what I'm doing. Okay, so we'll give that 10 minutes and see how it dries up. Okay guys, so far we've done the palm sander, then we did our quick fine touch up with the 180 grit, and then we did one heavy coat of filler primer. So what we're gonna do now is, as you can see, it is going to need a lot of work. So we're going to basically paste this entire thing with putty, some Mando glazing and spot putty. So I have a couple of gloves. I would really, like I said, it's super cold today, so I highly recommend outside. If not, go near an open door with a fan going. I'm definitely going to sand this outside regardless of how cold it is, but I am going to use my glove and just basically put it all over this entire helmet, because these 0.8 nozzles, as fast as it gets the job done, it does not really clean up too easy. So we're just going to start by slapping a ton of this on, give it about an hour to 3 hours to dry, and then we're going to sand it all down, rinse and repeat. Okay, so I'm not too worried about this part here because everything's gonna get blended in. I wanted to get everything but. So we are going to let that go sit outside now in the freezing cold and dry up, and we'll be back. Okay, so here we are. I couldn't convince or even bribe anybody to come outside with me today because it's so cold. But I went outside, I sanded it down. I didn't go too far. I just got enough that it was basically smooth. Like it feels smooth to the touch, might not look it. But with these huge lines, I'm not worried. Like I said, I did one layer of the filler primer, and then I slapped the entire thing full of Bondo. So what I do now is I always go around it and I get all of the very tiny spots like this, and I go and I sand them all down just a little bit, and then we'll go on to the next step. So I sand down all the tiny crevices back around the visor part again, and yeah, and then we're gonna use a pick and get rid of the mohawk as well. So that'll actually be the first thing we do. So if you have a pick, great. If not, I recommend getting one. And a little bit of force. Go over it a couple of times. Because with all that Bondo, we filled it up, right? So all right, and that's it. So we got into all of our detailed spots around the earpieces mainly, the visor, and the mohawk. Now, on to my next step before we go and slap a bunch of primer on it again. So right after that, I always wash it off with just dish soap. Now we let it dry. Okay, so now we've let it settle for another couple of hours. We're going to resand it again. Now I'm using a 240 grit sandpaper, and then rinse and repeat basically. So after I'm done sanding this, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna give it 3 more layers, bring it in, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, well, that's going to wrap up our 0.8 nozzle prep video. So hopefully you guys liked what you've seen. I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Lots of Bondo, lots of sanding, lots of fill, but if you put in the time, you can also have a really good helmet. So if you want to see how it gets finished, then check out my Alcalad video. Thanks for watching, guys.